Welcome along to an action-packed edition of From the Trainers Tower. What a massive day of racing we've got to look forward to at Flemington this Saturday. The Newmarket Handicap, the All-Star Mile. Slight change in the team here. Sam Lyons is having a week off. Terry Bailey, it's good to have you back on the couch.
Edward, all the better for seeing you, old son, and looking forward to the Newmarket. It's always been one of my favourite races, and we've got a few horses going to Sydney, but still we're going to have a good field lining up, and it all depends on Tentyris, and as they call him, the freak. And you and I, Edward, we say he's not a freak yet, but he's a very good horse. He's a very good horse indeed, but it takes a very good three-year-old to win the Newmarket Handicap. I've got fond memories of your call of Weekend Hustler when he did it in 2008, but it takes a three-year-old of that quality. That was a COVID year too, don't forget. So the Sydney horses couldn't get here as opposed to the race this year. But, yeah, he was a super horse. On his day, brilliant horse. He's winning the Rider, still burns in my memory in Sydney, one of his career best runs. Certainly does. So we've got all of that to look forward to. Let's start off with some of the big hitters in both of the Group 1, starting off with Chris Waller, who's got Wodeton and Angel Capital. They both jumped out on the straight course at Flemington last week. Brent Zarafa caught up with Chris straight after.
First and foremost, Chris, what's your sort of take of Wodeton there in the jump out?
Pretty good. Yeah, I don't like winning jump outs, but I'll take that this morning. He needs actually a bit of confidence. He's going well, but yeah, he's just been running into a couple better or races haven't been run to suit and things like that. So good confidence booster this morning.
Why is the Newmarket sort of the right race for him?
Well, he's a stallion, he's a colt, hoping to be a stallion. He's run second narrowly in a Golden Slipper and second in a Golden Rose and just needs to tick that Group 1 box. So down the straight also opens up options for going overseas if you manage to win the Newmarket.
Angel Capital was much more reserved in the jump out. What were you trying to sort of gain out of today's hit out?
His first time up the straight, so we just wanted to have him a good look at the track, nice easy time, and just keep him well contained. Yeah, so we keep him well harnessed, let him do a race day. And his first up run in Sydney was very good. He's come through it well, and hopefully it's a genuine 1200 and it'll really suit him.
Again, sort of what's the benefit of the Newmarket for him?
Well, yeah, the Newmarket being a Group 1 race is the box we need to tick. Everybody knows the ability, but we've got to win that Group 1 race, and likewise opens up so many options, racing and performing well up the straight.
Is William Reid on sort of the radar for both of those horses if they remain here in Melbourne?
They would be, for sure. Angel Capital loves Caulfield, and yeah, so it's a 2-week break, I think. So they'd certainly be there or back up to Sydney to the TJ, but be leaning towards the William Reid.
Jockeys bookings for both of those horses for next Saturday?
Well, Ben Mallam rides Angel Capital, and maybe Karis Teetan for Wodeton. We've just got to lock that in today.
That's certainly a developing matter with Karis Teetan as well, because he rode in Dubai on Saturday night, and after that meeting they shut the airspace. So Karis, wait and see on that scenario. As far as the horses go, looking at that jump out TB, Angel Capital under a good hold, Wodeton leading, winning. From seeing that, from hearing from Chris,
yeah. Well,
what do you make of it,
Edward? The jump out means nothing really. He was just given a little time to just blow the cobwebs out. It's up here or down there that the issue is, Edward.
With which horse or both?
Angel Capital. He gets warm before the races. He can be a bit of a pig when the gates open. He doesn't muster. He doesn't mentally want to get involved in the race at certain stages. If he puts it all together and gets the right run, he is a massive chance in the race. Massive chance.
And Wodeton's always had those big raps on him ever since he was a 2-year-old and won really impressively on debut. He hasn't won since then, but he brings the tempted form. He's run well on some big races. Lightweight. Do you give him a hope?
Yeah, I think the mere fact that Chris is targeting this race with him first up says he's got him right up to the mark. They're desperately in need of a Group 1 with both horses, so they're going to be tuned to the eyeballs to run well. He's getting, 7 kilos off Tentyris. Is he as good a horse as Tentyris? Not on this planet. But weight can mean a big difference. A lot will depend on barrier draw and who gets behind the pace runners and how that sorts out, because that's critical in these races at Flemington. They jump out from the 1200, they walk, then they really sprint home. Angel Capital has the turn of foot. Tentyris has got the turn of foot better than him probably. So a lot's going to depend on the barrier draw and everything like that. I don't think there's any rain around, is there, Edward? I think it's pretty much dry weather all the way through.
No, I think we've had our bit of rain for the week, Sunday, Monday. So you'd like to think that I know a lot of the tracks in Victoria have been on the rain-affected side of things early in the week. You'd like to think Flemington, how well it drains, it'll be a good track.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. So I'm saying Angel Capital's in the race right up to his ears if he gets the right draw.
OK, the other horse you touched on there was Tentyris. He's the hot favourite for the Newmarket. He's trained by Sam Freedman.
Tentyris, everyone's been waiting on will he or won't he. At this stage, you're heading to the Newmarket?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at the noms, but he's in Sydney and Melbourne, so we'll see what he gets allocated, but we'll probably make a call this afternoon. But he's obviously in Melbourne. He had a nice gallop this morning. He seems in really good order, and yeah, look, he looks fit and well, and Mark had a sit on him today. He's very happy, and yeah, we're all happy and ready to go.
Ideally, if he gets your weight that you want, you'd love to see him back down that Flemington straight, wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, his record down the straight is impeccable. It's been the plan the whole way through is to go Lightning Newmarket, and everything's gone to plan so far. So I think everyone wants to see a horse like that in the Newmarket, and you know, he'll still carry a fair bit of weight, you know, regardless of what he is allocated. He's not going to be given a real light 3-year-old's weight, so it takes a very good horse to carry that weight and win, but hopefully we've got the right horse for it.
Have you seen much improvement in him?
Look, he was forward enough for the Lightning. We gave him a really easy 10 days and sort of regretted that when he got very fresh and he needed a bit of work, and he's bouncing around, ready to go to the races again. He's just the ultimate professional, so his improvement is, I think he's actually getting better in his racecraft and the way that he's tracking in his races. You know, I think even the other day he sort of travelled right up till late, did the same in the Coolmore. You know, I think you're seeing him improve before your eyes. It's not necessarily what we're seeing at home. He's just getting better and better at the races.
And you'd love to see Tom Kitten win another All-Star Mile. You made the decision to keep him on the fresh side for it on Saturday. How is he?
He's fantastic, yeah. Very happy with him. He had a jump out last week. Willow had a sit on him again, and I think he actually co-led the trial. He was right up there on the speed, which was a different role for him, but he trialled really well. Horse looks, having only got to know him last prep and now seeing him now, he looks like a different horse. I don't know, I keep reflecting on his spring. I don't know what was happening, but his coat looks impeccable. He's carrying good condition. He's fresh and ready to go. And as I said, getting to know him, I've sort of got that feeling that he might be best fresh at a mile. So Saturday will tell us whether that's the right call, but we've also got an Australian Cup if we feel that he wants the 2,000 after that, or he can go to a Doncaster with 56.5. So, yeah, plenty of options, but the horse himself seems in great order.
Sam Freedman there talking to Michael Felgate at the sales on Monday. They've had an amazing autumn so far, winning the Lightning with Tentyris Tropicus, also taking out the Oakley Plate. Tentyris, Terry, how does the race need to be run on Saturday to bring out the best in him over 1,200 on the straight?
Well, his main asset is his lethal turn of foot. He's got to go to a different weight scale now. It's going to be a bigger field. And as you saw when he won first up, it was a reasonably bunched finish and he just out-sprinted them late. The on-pace horses all fell in a hole. Either some ran below expectation or, you know, they're treading water, some of those. If he gets the right run and is exposed at the 200 to dash when he wants under the right conditions, then there's no doubt he's going to be very, very hard to beat. What price is he there, Edward?
$1.80, Terry.
$1.80, yeah. I wouldn't be taking $1.80. I'm not saying he can't win. Of course he can win. He's a very good horse. He's a great chance in the race. And the other thing is the race falls away pretty quickly. Once you get away from the top three in betting, the race tails off a fair bit pretty quickly. Some of those other horses are probably more genuine Group 3 or Group 2 against mares, maybe Group 1 against mares. So the top three in the betting are the horses to beat. My Gladiola is the interesting runner. She just never puts a foot wrong, and she's been right on his coattails. Actually looked like she'd beat him last time out, and she gets a bit of weight relief, so that's going to be a bit of interest there as well.
And you mentioned her. We'll be hearing from her trainer, John McArdle, right after the break. It's great to have your company on this edition of From the Trainer's Tower. We've heard from Sam Freedman regarding Tentyris. Now, Terry, we need to hear from the challengers like My Gladiola and her trainer, John McArdle.
John, my Gladiola, looking forward to seeing her in the Newmarket. How has she come on since that unbelievable run in the Lightning?
Yeah, she's been great. Obviously had a bit of improvement still to come in the Lightning with only having had one trial, but she seems her normal self. She is always very laid back at home, so she's been her normal self, just eating and sleeping. That's what she does most of the time, so we're happy with her at this stage.
She's shown such a great affinity with the straight track as well, which I guess holds more confidence for you coming to Saturday, but unfortunately it looks like Tentyris might be there as well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We were hoping he'd go to Sydney or go to the William Reid, but we'll see what the weights come out like when they are published, but we'll probably get a better weight swing off him with this being a handicap rather than wait for age. So Craig Williams is coming down to Ryder tomorrow morning, and then we'll accept and see how we go from there.
What difference do you think there needs to be between you two?
I reckon there should be about 15 kilos, but that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, you'd think that she'd have to get 5 or 6 kilos off him at least. So yeah, we'll see what the handicapper comes up with.
1,200 metres too down the straight?
Yeah, look, Jamie's actually commented in all of her work and her trials this time in that he thought that she's relaxing better, and she certainly did in the Lightning. And he's confident that it won't be a drama, the 1,200. So no, she did run second in a Coolmore and beat a lot of very good horses. So yeah, it doesn't hold any fears for me.
That's John McArdle. So 50.5 kilos is what my Gladiola has got for the Newmarket. Tentyris with 57. So I think he'd be happy with what the handicap has given his filly.
Well, if she's going to beat him, she's going to get a chance on Saturday, Edward. They've clashed, I think, on 3 occasions. He handled her with turn of foot last time out, and then in the Coolmore, he was just in a different league, but she ran well. And then the Danehill behind McGaw, she finished in front of him. So if you think he can win, then you've got to have a saver on her if the wheels fall off, because she's going to be there. She's going to look the winner for sure at the 200 metres mark. There's no doubt about that. And with no weight, she can be ridden aggressively at a certain stage in the race if she needs to be, because she won't be carrying any weight. I looked at her in the mounting yard the other day when I was watching on television, which is a bit hard to sort of know for sure, but she looked fantastic. It looked like that run would just bring her right on.
Yep, she's come back very, very well. Nice catch there with the iPad.
Yes, Edward. I'm sure I'm going to make some technical mistake here and lose all my stuff, but it's all good.
It's all up here, I know, for UTB anyway.
There's something up there, Edward.
Let's carry on then. Let's go to Cliff Brown. Sepals is certainly a fascinating runner in the Newmarket.
Cliff Brown, we've got Sepals in the Newmarket, which is great to see. Was this a long-term plan to go first up in the Newmarket?
Yeah, look, it was. It was one of those things we sort of missed the futurity in that, and we just want a nice, easy, what a ridiculous word. Just 1,200 metres, sit out the back and see if we can finish off a bit and see what happens.
You've hit a hot year by the look of it, though, with the likes of Tentyris, my Gladiola and the others.
Yes, it does look reasonably strong, doesn't it? Yeah, no, look, it's a great field, but it's great for racing. I mean, I watched Tentyris the other day and I thought, oh, he's too far back, and within 5 strides it was over. He was incredible. So, no, it's exciting. I actually look forward to going to the races and watching him.
Can we see Sepals with a similar finish, sitting back over 1,200 down the straight?
Oh, look, if he did, I'd be very happy. No, I don't think so, but I think so long as he's finishing off, we'll be pleased.
Have you seen much development in between campaigns?
Probably not. No, he's sort of 4.5 now, and no, he's really good. He's a very easy horse to train. His demeanour's excellent. He eats up, great constitution. No, he's pretty straightforward. He's
gone to a new level every time he's come in, though. So, are you hoping for maintaining, or do you think there could be a little bit more improvement with age?
I'm not sure. I think he's a bit unheralded, and I'm probably biased, which you expect. But, first up he won really well. Second up, his first 600 in the Rupert Clark was extraordinarily quick. And I saw someone on the television the other day just say, oh, he got across easily. Well, he really burnt that day and he was really strong. Turak, we all know what happened. And then he ran second to Autumn Glow, first time that way of going off a hard prep. So he's probably a bit better than people think.
What's his ultimate aim this campaign?
No, do you know what? I really just want to see how the Newmarket goes and go from there.
He's never one to get carried away with anything, is Cliff Brown. He makes an interesting point, though. Winner of the Rupert Clark, nothing went right with the Turak. He took it up to Autumn Glow when he went up to Sydney for the Golden Eagle. Does Sepals get the respect he deserves?
I think he's a little bit underrated. I've been a big fan since the very first time I saw him go to the racetrack. He's a cracking horse, Edward. He's got all the style and the class of a Group 1 galloper. He's run against Autumn Glow at the end of the preparation. That's Autumn Glow form. So you've got Autumn Glow form, Tentyris. They're the two form lines you're going to follow. So of the top three, he's the fourth one because he's a little unknown Flemington 1,200 metres. He's got the ability to win. There's no doubt about that. He's within a kilo of Tentyris. Shows you that Tentyris is going to have his work cut out with the 57 kilograms. But if he is a freak like everyone says he is, except for you and I, Edward, then he should be winning. But I like Sepals a lot as a racehorse. Remember, he's got the Autumn Glow form. We know how good she is. She's a superstar.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. I've got you as my spokesperson for most things there, including that TP. Let's go to Ben Hayes, who's represented Lindsay Park with runners in both features this weekend.
Ben Hayes, great to see Evaporate heading to Flemington for the All-Star Mile on Saturday. Looks a deep All-Star Mile this year.
Yeah, I think it's one of the stronger additions just through the whole field. There's a lot of very good horses in it, so he deserves to be there. Evaporate, I thought his run first up was excellent. Only beaten just under a length, and he did everything, and he was really kicking, and he is a horse that we find he improves through his preps as well, so seems to have tightened up and expect him to run another good race.
Yeah, he's a horse that's knocking on the door for his Group 1. How do you think he'll go in a race with Pride of Jenni in that hot speed when he normally likes to be up on the pace?
He does, but he has been ridden off the pace before as well. So look, Pride of Jenni will ensure there's got to be a good tempo. Over a mile, I find horses can stay close with her. So it'll be really interesting what happens. But he's had the run under the belt. He's a hard-going horse himself, so a bit of fast tempo will be good for him. So I think it'll be fine.
Newmarket's going to be a fascinating race as well. You've got War Machine heading there.
We do. Really happy with him. Obviously, it was disappointing first up. We had a good look at him. We feel he just jarred up out of the run, and maybe night racing as well. You just don't really know how they handle it. But we've been thrilled with him since. He's had two nice jump outs. His last jump out in particular down the straight looked like he was right back on track. We feel he's tightened up. And he's a very good straight horse. People forget he was second favourite or third favourite in Everest not long ago. So he's very sharp and he loves the straight, so I wouldn't write him off.
Welcome back to From the Trainer's Tower. Let's go to Troy Corstens now. Baraqiel, where will he race this weekend?
Baraqiel heading towards the Newmarket on Saturday. How much improvement did he take out of the Lightning?
We tried him again down the straight last week, and I thought he was good. We're just playing around with a little bit of gear. We've also thrown in a nom for Sydney as well, so for the Challenge Stakes. So we'll have a look at both, possibly accept in both, and then make a decision. What would sway you? Which way? I just think that the challenge may come up a little bit softer, and at this stage there's 14 entries. I think they've extended the noms, so we'll just have a look and go from there. Do you think he's a better horse around a bend, or is that what's in the back of your mind? 100%. Yeah. I know he's a better horse around the bend. Unfortunately, they're not racing at Moonee Valley in the next few weeks, but look, we'll just see how he is. The eye is still on the prize that the William Reid is the grand final, and whether we go to Sydney or stay here for the Newmarket, we'll just make a decision on Wednesday. How much better is he, though, after that first up run? Oh, good, yeah. He's taken really good fitness levels out of that. The trials helped him as well. We're still going to tinker with his gear a little bit and make that decision and go forward. If you were to race in Melbourne and Tentyris accepts, do you think he can turn the tables on the three-year-old? I think if we do, we're going to ride our boy a little bit differently. So we've talked about it. We've talked about going right back on him and trying not to let him hit the front until as late as possible. So that would be one way that we may be able to beat Tentyris. Okay. Stable's airborne at the moment. Magnus Spin, there's no better example than that. Yeah, he's in a great vein of form at the moment. He's going very well. I think we're going to give him a crack at the Australian Cup Prelude on Saturday. So it's probably going to be a good race. It'll be interesting to see the nominations when they come out, but it looks like he probably deserves a crack. Won a listed race last start, and he's racing really well.
He certainly is. He's a very tough horse, Magnus Spin. Going back to Baraqiel, though, not an easy spot for someone like Troy to be in when you've got a horse who's at his absolute best at Moonee Valley, but they're not racing there until 2027, TB.
No, that's going to be a little quandary for him. But also, the challenge is worth $500,000. Easier race for sure than what it is the Newmarket. The Newmarket's worth $2 million, and you don't have to go anywhere. So I think he'll be staying here. That's my pot luck guess.
OK, I was reading the interview the other way. I was thinking he's going to go to the Challenge because he's better around a bend and you don't have to worry about Tentyris. But I guess if the William Reid is their grand final, it's easier to stay in Melbourne, isn't it, leading into that?
Well, that race is also out of a chute.
Yes.
The 1,000 metres at Randwick, so it's not a true bend as in, 2 turns, it's just one turn really. But yeah, so $2 million. He wasn't far off Tentyris. Can he win the race? I wouldn't have thought so, Edward.
No.
But if I owned him, I'd be staying and having a crack.
Can't win.
Sydney can wait.
We're both saying he can't win.
Correct.
Could he run in the top 4?
Struggle.
OK.
What about yourself?
I think he could run in the top 4. I agree. I don't think he could win, but I think he could finish thereabouts. We heard earlier on from Sam Freedman regarding Tentyris. Let's get the latest on some of his other runners and also some of their notable horses they've got in the stable this autumn.
I think Zambales, we'll accept with him. Very good run in the Diamond, was pretty unlucky. Big horse, looks like he'd eat up 1,400 in Flemington. So he'll do a bit of work tomorrow, and if we're happy, we'll accept. And he's possibly a size champagne horse in Sydney, so Vinrock went down that path last year, so we're sort of looking at that same sort of pathway for him. But we'll just get through the week and see how he is. But all being well, we'll run Saturday.
Where's the Oakley Plate winner go next?
He will run in the William Reid. Probably be nominated for the Galaxy, but I'd say he'll go the William Reid. Obviously taking on Jimmy Starr won't be an easy feat, but he's very fit, he's well, he'll have a trial before the race, so 10 days out, and he'll be up there in the firing line, and he'll at least make Jimmy earn it. He'll have to run him down, but he's obviously a world-class horse, Jimmy Starr, and it'll be a next test for us at Weight for Age, but I think that he's up to it.
It was a great win by Tropicus. How did Point Barrow come through the race?
She didn't pull up as well as we would have liked. She was a bit scratchy sort of Sunday, Monday, so we actually sent her off for a scan later in the week. Came back fairly insignificant, so a few little things that we just need to give her an easy sort of 10 to 14 days. So you might see her at the end of the month in a listed race down the straight on the 28th at 1100, and then we'll start working back from Adelaide with her. So I think genuine enough excuse on how she pulled up from the run last week,
Thanks to Michael Felgate for all of those interviews from the English sales this week. We've had a look earlier on at the Newmarket market. Let's go to the All-Star Mile market now with Pride of Jenni, the favourite at $3.50, Treasure of the Moment $5, Tom Kitten $6, Stefi Magnetica $7, Antino $9. Pretty open renewal of the All-Star Mile. Who would you be with, Terry?
I'm definitely with Tom Kitten.
OK.
I'm not knocking Pride of Jenni, but I'm definitely, there's no value in her at the $3.50. I'm with him. I agree with Sam. I think they're training him differently, and I think he's relishing having a true blue campaign now with the Freedman yard after they had a bit of a field with him in the spring, and his win the other day was great. All-Star Mile's come under criticism in recent years, but when you look at the race itself, geez, it's been a good race.
It has. Every year it has.
Every year. If you could say, let's get rid of the Australian Cup and just have the All-Star Mile, it would be fantastic. But you've got two races that are very similar against each other. But this edition, in all honesty, with all the horses we've got, I think that's a really good field. And a horse like Buckaroo's not out of it. But no, I'm a Tom man, Tom Kitten.
All right, we're out of time. We'll see you next time here on the Trainers Tower.
I may not.